Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, welcome back. Inside Real Estate website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. By the way, if you're actively looking for real estate, you can download my app, DFW Metroplex Real Estate. It's in your smartphone stores, either Apple or Droid. And then, of course, catch all of our episodes and past interviews at the website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. And got a few headlines to throw your way before we get into insurance talk. I got, maybe a minute and a half to throw these at you real quick. Here's a few things that are going on. You know that Ed Snowden movie is coming out here pretty soon, and he's going to do a live from satellite from Russia on September 14th, a conversation with Oliver Stone. So there's going to be an interesting screening with that. So and that movie's coming up. The Sully Sullenberger movie just came out this past weekend as well. I really want to see that. I have not gotten to it yet. But did you know the SpaceX rocket exploded at Cape Canaveral this past week? They were sending up a satellite for Facebook that was going to help with internet service in Africa. And the rocket exploded this past week on the launch pad. So that was they've lost a few, but you know it happens. You know, it's just part of the business, and they know that.
But the last couple, they had successful launches.
They've been doing really good.
Exactly.
They've because in fact they've sent up some supplies for the space station for NASA as well. So. This was interesting here. Remember John Hinckley Jr., the attempted assassinator of Reagan. He's being released. He's been in sort of mental health facility for some time, in prison, of course. And he's actually getting released. He got released yesterday, actually. Got released yesterday. He's going to be somewhat under house arrest, but he can drive. He got a driver's license in 2011. He's actually been going home to his mother's home for quite a while, which I wasn't aware of this. But he's being allowed to live with his mother, and he can drive up to 30 miles. He will be able to vote in Virginia. He can apply to vote. He's barred from talking to the media, though. But he is out, and they say he's not a threat to anyone. So John Hinckley Jr. is free as of yesterday.
So you can try and kill the president, but who killed John Lennon? He still is denied parole, correct?
And the woman who tried to kill President Ford is still locked up forever.
Yeah, so very, very interesting. I was very hard pressed to believe this. I was like, "What? What's going on?" And sure enough, it's true. So he was out. So the guy who tried to kill President Reagan. There you go. Hey, we're flying to Cuba now. If for a long time we've been thinking that would never happen since the 50s. And so, hey, guess what? We're flying to Cuba now. JetBlue flew the inaugural flight on the 31st last week or so. And, of course, American started flying there this past week. I don't think yet we're flying direct out of DFW on American. I think right now we've got to connect through Miami. But I understand that hopefully both Southwest and American are going to be trying to fly direct here pretty soon. So, that'd be interesting. You want to head down to Havana, Richard?
Sure, if you're buying.
Well,
I'm willing to go anywhere.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the headlines for now. Let's get into some insurance talk. Let's talk about some earthquakes, and then there was that recent thing that happened with the guy's cell phone, the new Samsung 7 Note, I believe it was, and his car just turned into a ball of flame. And so now, is that going to be covered? If somebody's cell phone blows up their car?
It's funny, when we were talking about that during break, normally, if you're at the control, it just goes towards collision. But with something like that, like we were talking about, you're going to look at something like other than collision, or what's commonly referred to as comprehensive. But that would be an interesting one. But yes, it would be covered as long as you have full coverage. Now, any covered item, and let's take that to earthquake insurance also. If you don't have the coverage, you're not going to be covered.
Yeah.
And it's it's that simple. But
so if you have a cut rate liability auto policy and your cell phone blows up your car, you are SOL.
If you have liability only, I don't understand it, but we all have our own budgets that we have to live in, and we all have different risk tolerances. And just because I don't feel comfortable having liability only doesn't mean that other people don't.
Sure.
Because I have a bunch of customers that have liability only, and I try talking them out of it, but
that's what they want to do.
Exactly.
Well, let's get into that earthquake. I know we wanted to talk about earthquake coverage because of the earthquake that happened in Pawnee, and we felt it. If it was felt in 6 states, all the way up into the Dakotas and down here, and I know in Irving there's been a lot of earthquakes as well. And so let's talk about earthquake coverage, because I guess now we maybe need to think about that as homeowners here.
Exactly. But before I get into that, I just wanted to shout out to my wife. Happy birthday, honey. I love you. Thank you for the beautiful life that we have together. Now, on to
Happy
work.
birthday, Carol.
Happy birthday to you.
We're going to let Mike sing.
No, don't. You don't want to hear me sing.
Well, I know my wife doesn't want to hear me sing.
Happy birthday to you.
I'm just going to throw some did you knows at you and see if you can kind of guess how many. Before 2008, how many recorded earthquakes did we have in the Metroplex?
Not many.
None.
1.
Oh.
Since 2008, have we had more than 50?
Yes.
More than 100?
No.
Yes.
More than 100.
More than 100 have been recorded in the Metroplex
in
Wow.
less than 10 years.
in less than 10 years.
Well, and up in Oklahoma, over 900 in this past year. And they pretty much were the same way.
Yes.
And so Oklahoma's even far worse.
That's the reason that they've stopped the fracking up there, is because there has to be something to that, but that's a completely different conversation.
We
Right,
could fill
absolutely.
3 hours with that.
And
Yeah.
there's really no way to predict when an earthquake is going to occur.
Yeah.
They can say that things are right for it, but they can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen. An estimated major earthquake in populated area could cause as much as $200 million in losses. Unfortunately, around here, your homeowner's policy does not cover earthquake insurance, or it does not cover earthquake.
Right.
So, and with it not being a Texas law that you have to have it, it's your choice. And is this something that you need to look at? Yeah. Depending on where you are. I mean, I've felt it at my house, and me and my wife have had the conversations of, do we need to get this?
And we're going to be up against some time. Let's talk about the cost of earthquake coverage and what it would cover.
Well, there are different kinds of earthquake policies also. There are some earthquake policies that will cover you in the event of a total loss, and that's it. And usually your deductible is going to be anywhere from 2% up to 15%. And that's a total loss. So if your house is $200,000, you're going to take, I mean, if it's at $5,000, then you're going to take $10,000 off, and then you're going to get the $190 to replace everything. That being said, with this being a low risk area, and I'm throwing quotation marks up, it depends on where you are, whether you're really low risk or not, but they can range anywhere from $110 a year up to Lord only knows. It's going to vary from house to house, but we are not going to pay the rates like California or other areas that are more high risk areas, where ours is going to be a lot less and a lot more affordable to get. Now, we have some policies that will go down to the 2% and don't have to have full total loss for it to be covered. It'll cover any kind of property damage, any kind of personal damage that happens to your house that isn't a total loss. And so you're looking at that kind of a coverage will be easily maintained for pennies on the dollar per year.
Right. Well, I mean, if you live in the Irving area, for example, where a lot of earthquakes have occurred, if I was a homeowner over there, I would get earthquake coverage. The type of coverage I would want is something that would not be total catastrophic. Well, I would want that, but I would also want what is more likely, which is some damage to the home. You know, you could all of a sudden experience major cracks in the house. some structural. That's what I would want if I lived in Irving as a homeowner.
It'd be a no-brainer.
At this
I'd have
point,
it.
I would have to get it.
Yes.
You know, what just happened now?
And with some of our policies, it's going to be a simple endorsement that you can add onto your policy or within the same company. Others, you can do a standalone policy for your homeowner's insurance. It doesn't have to be with your, let's say you have Farmers or State Farm or someone else. Like Farmers doesn't, I don't believe that they have, well, I don't know. Anyway, if you have a different policy, a different homeowner's policy, you don't have to have the same earthquake policy with the same company. You can get a standalone earthquake policy that is separate from them.
Right, same as you can with flood.
Exactly.
So are we talking about, I mean, maybe can we have, that $300 to $500 a year ballpark for an earthquake policy similar to, and we're going to have to wrap up, but similar to flood? I mean, can we get
absolutely.
into that ballpark?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, folks, look, it is worth it. I mean, with the latest things that have been happening with earthquakes, you may want to think about it here in the DFW area, especially if you had some damage. Call Richard. RichardTAgency.com is the website, RichardTAgency.com, 817-286-2002. Call 2002. Call 2002. Call 2002. Call 2002. Call 2002. Call 2002.